First thing I wanted to talk about, obviously I listened to Chatterbox Reds this morning because I had a take once you see the news that the Reds are in or flirting with bringing in former Milwaukee Brewer, former New York Yankee, Devin Williams to, anchor the Reds bullpen this coming season. And while that's great, right? Anytime that your favorite sports team is going after premier players at their position, that's a great thing. Absolutely no doubt about it. But here's my cause for concern, and it's just a general sentiment that I have when constructing a Major League Baseball roster. And that is when you are a team on a budget, and the Reds undoubtedly are a team on a budget. You cannot mix bones about that. In fact, the only other big news that have come out this week is that the Reds have about $15 to $20 million this offseason to toy around and to improve this roster. When you are a team on a budget, you can go ahead and make this your creed. You can make this your indoctrination, which is this. You cannot spend big money on a relief pitcher. You just can't. You cannot go after the elite names as a relief pitcher because, point blank, that is a luxury you cannot afford. Relief pitchers are valuable, no doubt about it. Someone that can shut the door late in the ball game, someone that can get you out of a jam when the bases are loaded and you need a strikeout. There's absolute value in that. But you cannot take up a great majority of your payroll to get one of those players. It's like if your family was on a budget. You're living paycheck to paycheck like so many of us are. And you decide, you know what? I think it's time we take that trip down to Cancun at the all-inclusive. Let's go on a week-long vacation and really just enjoy ourselves. Yeah, that's fun. That's great. It's going to be a memory. It's going to be something that you hold on to. But you know deep down that you can't be doing that. Doesn't make sense for the budget. It sets you back. It lessens your chance to make other financial moves. The Reds cannot afford to do that. You've got to be consistently going in the bargain bin. And the reason is simple. It's probably the least valuable place on the field, relief pitching. And it's a heartache. It's a heartache when you have a bad bullpen and they're consistently blowing games. No doubt about that either. But offering, and the reports coming out from like MLB Trade Rumors and other places, is this guy's going to be wanting somewhere in the range of $15 million a year. I mean, maybe it's a little less than that, but those are the reports. How can the Reds think that it's viable to go after a guy that wants even 12 and a half, 13, 14, $15 million a year for a guy that's only going to throw about 60, 70 innings? I've talked about this before, and I'll continue to say it. The currency of baseball isn't runs, it's outs. How can you get to the end of the year getting as many outs as possible? And yeah, I've already established relief pitchers are valuable. If you can have one, that's fantastic. If you have a great lockdown relief pitcher, it's fantastic. But you cannot be spending $15 million. You cannot be taking a great portion of your budget for 70 innings. Especially with the volatility that relief pitchers often come with. It's not just the fact that they take up such a small portion of the outs that you're going to record over a season. It's the fact that more often than not, there's not a more volatile position in the sport. Year in and year out, we see guys that one season, lights out, nails. 1.4 ERA. Next year, 4.5. Maybe their fastball isn't located as much. Maybe they lost a tick off it. Maybe their curveball isn't fooling hitters. Whatever the reason is, we see volatility. And the other reason that you can't do this is because you can. You can get good relief pitchers on the cheap. Got to have a good scouting department. You got to have a good pitching coach or a good pitching development sometimes to get either these young guys or these old guys that just need a new scenery. But frequently, we see this every single year. We see guys that have struggled elsewhere. You bring them in, you teach them a new pitch, you tell them to focus on this pitch, and all of a sudden, they're a really good reliever. And you can do that dirt cheap. Now, there's going to be a lot of misses, a lot of swings and misses. But you can afford to do that. You can't afford to put $15 million on the payroll when you're already a very small payroll for a relief pitcher. Admittedly, he can be one of, if not the best relief pitcher in the game. I get it. Fully understand it. But it's just too big of a risk. With how much money you're going to be losing, with how volatile the position can be, and the fact that you can get cheaper somewhere else, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It never will make sense to me. Now, do I think that even with this report that the Reds were going to sign Devin Williams? No. No, I don't think that. But it's just a reminder. It's the analogy I can make this to is close to football. And this isn't a one-for-one analogy, but it's the closest one I got if I'm trying to loop it back to football. And it's that running backs. Look at running backs. For a long time, we've understood that running backs aren't the most valuable position. There's a reason guys like, even though Derrick Henry is, one of the best running backs in the league, he got paid, $8 million last year? Saquon Barkley can move team to team. It's because that's a luxury that teams that have a full, complete roster, they can spend money on the running back to add it. But when you're a team like the Miami Dolphins, when you're a team like the New York Jets, and it's time to pay a running back, you can't do it because there's more valuable places elsewhere. Even the Bengals here in town, we can't pay for a big running back because it just doesn't make any sense. It's why you got to let guys like Joe Mixon go. The reason that we extended Joe Mixon when we did was because we weren't paying a quarterback or wide receivers at the time. So that's when it makes sense. But the second his contract's done, all right, see you else. See you later. I said it's not a perfect analogy, but teams like the Dodgers, teams like the Yankees, teams like the Blue Jays, teams even like the Cubs here in the division, when they have a more complete roster, when they have more money to work with, those are luxuries they can afford. The Reds cannot do it. But you could be asking, all right, well, Devin Williams didn't have the best year last year. What if he wants to reestablish his market, which has been reported, that he wants to maybe get a shorter deal, not the 3-4 year long relief pitching deals that we've seen in the league, but wants to come in for 1 year and prove it. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, if the Reds can get him on a prove it deal, then yeah, sure. If you can get him cheap, if you're buying, a discounted Devin Williams, sure. But I'll ask this point blank question. If he's on a prove it deal, if he's wanting to reestablish his market in the league, why would he do it in Cincinnati? Are the Reds constantly going to be, are they going to be a 95-win team where he's going to get a lot of, I know that's a bad stat, but saves or opportunities with leads to establish himself as a dominant force at the back end as the closer of your bullpen? No, not really. We're looking at a team that, on the best case, is an 86-win team. Okay, is he going to have a hitter or pitcher-friendly ballpark like Petco Park or Comerica Park? Or no, you've got the most hitter-friendly ballpark where he's going to give up some home runs throughout the course of the year that he wouldn't give elsewhere. Okay. Well, do they at least have a great defense that, maybe a ball squeaks through and Key Brian Hayes is fantastic at third base? But no, the Reds, quite honestly, though they are getting better defensively, don't have a good defense either. There's nothing that makes you think that Devin Williams would come here to Cincinnati on a prove-it deal. There's nothing that would make you believe that, okay, I want to prove it. Let's prove it in Cincinnati where I'm going to play in a home run friendly ballpark with a bad defense behind me and for a team that's going to be mediocre or, at the very best, an 87-win team. It's exciting, no doubt about it, anytime you see your team in the news as going after someone elite at their position. But it'd be malpractice for the Reds to spend their very small budget on a guy like Devin Williams. Stone, I know you saw the reports. I know you talked to Mark Sheldon yesterday. Mm-hmm. Reports came out afterwards. Do you have any opinions on, the Reds going after a guy like Devin Williams, who admittedly one of the best relief pitchers in baseball when he's on? He had a kind of a lackluster year last year. Do you have any opinions on if this is a guy that the Reds with their budget should go after?
I'm with you. It's kind of like, do you want Devin Williams on your team? based on what I saw him do against the Reds when he was in Milwaukee, like, yeah, you would love to have it. Admittedly, I didn't watch him very closely in New York. You said it wasn't, necessarily up to his standards this past year. But yeah, with a small market team that doesn't have a huge budget, relief pitching, especially when the offense is as bad or lackluster as it was last year, I don't know necessarily if that's the right call when you're talking about, allocating your payroll. If the Reds got Devin Williams, am I going to be necessarily upset about it? No. I mean, I just remember him in Milwaukee just being absolutely nasty. And
yeah,
he has that,
the Airbender.
Right, the Airbender. That's what it is. Yeah, just a nasty pitch. And the Reds couldn't hit him when he was in Milwaukee. So, yeah, it would be great to have that kind of presence in your bullpen. But then is that taking away from getting a potential bat that could help you out offensively? So I would say my gut says, yeah, probably stay away. But if this is a situation where you go out and get Devin Williams, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it.
Right. It is almost like – so I made the analogy earlier. It's like if you're going paycheck to paycheck,
yeah,
and you're like, you know what? Been working hard. Let's go down to Cancun for the week. Let's go down to Mexico, stay at an all-inclusive vacation, all-inclusive resort. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic. I'm sure you'll have a blast for that week, but does it make sense in the budget? Absolutely not. You know that deep down there's going to create more problems by doing that. Now, have fun by doing that, by all means, but you just can't.